Hello and welcome to the Market TV show. And today's Monday, July 6th, 2020. The S&P 500, looking at SPY here, have closed above the major sideways action here. As you can see, we've been sideways for almost a whole month, 21 days. We bounced, we went down, back up, slowly went down, hit support, and came back up. And then today, it went higher and came and almost filled the gap, right? See how there's a big gap from here to here, 1.91%. But now we've entered that gap. This this was the line that we couldn't break, but now we're above it. See how intraday we actually came down here, but price buyers came in as supported that area, and now we enter the gap. The next target will be the gap fill, be right here. So just a tad bit higher, and then will be the next higher high. If we break that, then we make a new high. So bullish overall, and no reason for it to come crashing down just yet. Although I'm going to point out some things to watch out for. You never know in a market like this or any market. Things can always reverse very suddenly. So always be cautious. But we do play the odds. Looking at QQQ, let's take a look at QQQ. This was technology sector, NASDAQ. Currently closing at 10,674. If you look at the futures here, already up aftermarket, already over 0.5%. Going back to QQQ, how it closed today, very bullish. Friday was exuding a little bit of weakness here, but actually got overcome the pre-market yesterday on Sunday and actually gapped up really high. And so always be aware that we are still in an uptrend. Don't ever think that you can always predict the turn. It's very difficult to do so. You can take shots. Always take shots if the evidence line up, and just don't make it your primary direction trading. Always, at least in my opinion. All right. So very bullish and continue to be this way tomorrow. However, um, notice uh, how far price closed compared to our moving average, the 20-day moving average. There's a big distance here, and tomorrow it's looking like it's going to cap up one more time and then continue higher. Doing so will put the QQQ even further away from the 20 MA. Now, looking back at history, look at how far prices have gone up before it reverts back to the mean, right? It can always get away from the 20, but it can never stay away from the 20. Look at how far it stayed away from the 20. Tries to go and meet the 20, didn't get there, got there, right? So always be aware that this buying right here is definitely a lot more risky than say here, this candle here, or this candle, or this candle, because the trend has been moving up. And like one thing that I know for sure when it comes to market is that all trends eventually end. There's no trend that stays the same, move in the same direction all year round, or an instrument can just stop trading. That's one way for it to end. So looking at I want to bring up the hourly. If you're looking at the hourly, see that big gap up here? That's up huge. Uh, Pre-market, and now looking to open even higher. If you look at the indicators here on the RSI, we're trading at overbought levels, and what we're seeing here is a divergence, and we don't know when it's going to play out or if it's going to play out. You see how we're making lower highs here, while when we look at prices at the same level, we're making higher highs. So eventually, we're going to see a correction. Just don't know when exactly, but the technicals are built in. And when you look at the daily time frame, you can see that it's the same thing, right? You see a lower high forming, but a higher high forming on prices. And if you look back history before the big drop, look at here. You have a high here, a lower high here, right? A high here, a lower high here, and then you look at price here, the opposite, going higher high. See the divergence? Higher high, lower high. What happened? Big drop, big drop. So be aware that we're potentially forming the same thing as here to here, here to here. Dow Jones Industrial Average, bullish, very bullish today, closing above the major 200-day moving average, poised to enter the gap, just like SPX here. This the lagging, not as bullish overall compared to Nasdaq, but what does it look like right now? Like when you zoom out, it looks pretty bullish. We're on a strong uptrend. Made a higher low, bounced off the 50 MA, bounced off the 50 MA again. Sold off on the 200 day, sold off on the 200 day, sold off on the 200 day. Now right back above. Now, if we get another big green candle tomorrow and enter the gap, it is safe to say, in my opinion, that we're going to continue higher, fill the gap. That's another 1.15%, and then challenge the recent high, which is 3.56% from now. And Boeing will be the key player here, as it is one of the major instruments inside Dow Jones. Looking at XLF, the financial sector, not as bullish as the other sectors. It's still riding on the trend line here. You see, connecting the lows here to here. You have bounce here, not making new highs, and the 20-day moving average is still pointing down. For the market to continue higher, the financial sector needs to make a high close above the green line. And currently, it's made a higher high, right? And so, definitely a possibility. We have to see what happens tomorrow. XLK technology, the biggest sector in the S&P. We had a new all-time high. See? Big picture, new all-time high. Just like the QQQ functions the same way. It's the same, a lot of the same names are in the ETF. Looking at the indicators here, we looked at the RSI is the same picture. The CCI gives you a different picture, but essentially the same thing. Looking at the MACD, we see MACD, the way it works is that when it's close, when the blue line, the MACD line, is above the orange line, we're bullish. And here you are depicted by the histogram. And as the lines come closer together, the histogram becomes smaller and smaller. And then we were negative during this correction, right? And then now we just cross back positive, indicating there's more positive momentum. Looking at SOXX here, SOXX, very interesting to point out here. This is the semiconductors. So you have Intel, Nvidia, AMD. Those are all the big names for inside SOXX. And take a look at how this downtrend line kept prices below for, let's see here, I think just 26 days. And then by Friday, it tried to poke up, but then went back below, and now it's gapped up. Now, this is the clear breakout sign, and we should see it follow through tomorrow and the next day and the next. And we are at all-time highs. And so if you remember how Netflix or Amazon or Tesla, which we're going to look at, after it broke the downtrend resistance line, it became very bullish. One thing I like to point out though to drive the case that we're not totally in the clear is that when you look at VIX, right, the fear index, check out how this candle right here, right, this candle had a long tail right there, and then boom, we had the sell off, right? On Friday we had that similar candle here, and then today we have another candle just like that. Now, if there's a sell-off tomorrow, then we should see prices move for VIX to come back up, indicating that we have a probably a multi-day sell-off, or at least one decent day of sell-off. If prices break down tomorrow below the 200-day moving average here, make a new low, then it's safe to say, in my opinion, that we are resuming the uptrend. If you take a look at another view to look at is look at the trading vehicle, the short-term long for VIX. You can see this about the same picture, right? Try to break below the 200-day, we covered it, and then shot up. And now look at how prices are staying above the 200-day again on the red line. So if we break 200-day solid close below, then yeah, any bear case is very diminished, and it's very unlikely we're going to have a big sell-off anytime soon. Looking at Apple, one of the big FANG stocks here. I saw that there was a lot of unusual option activities, buying puts, and that's another thing. We don't know if that's just a hedge position or if there's a big trader who see that correction's coming, and that should give you pause when you see huge moves like that, betting tens of millions that Apple was coming down anytime soon. So looking at the daily picture, it is bullish and has been bullish for a long time. It's so bullish that it has not even touched the 20-day moving average, right? And we're way above the last all-time high before the big crash. Looking at the 1 hour, already moving up after hour. So higher, looks higher to me. Looking at Amazon, very overbought at 80 now. Any signs of slowing down? No. Maybe we get one more thrust up before any sort of correction. And as you can see, we're so high in the RSI reading here. But very bullish. It doesn't mean that we should sell off the next day or the next day. But that trend could continue for maybe a couple more days before it does any significant correction. Look at Netflix, bullish, overtook this seller candle, now making a higher high, most likely another high tomorrow. Facebook, same story, bullish engulfing the previous red candle on the base of the support here. Looking like it's challenging the high of 245.32. Google, almost to all-time highs. 5 days of green candle, looking like another day of green candle tomorrow. All it has to do is make another 2%, then it will be at all-time highs. Microsoft, another big one, making new high 5 days in a row, just like Apple, not like Apple, but it's actually more bullish than Apple. Tesla, the most bullish, and always a crowd favorite when it comes to trading. No signs of slowing down yet. See how the entire candle today has been just one giant candle after the gap up from here. But if you're not in now, it's very tough to hold for very long, because if you're not quick to take profits, it could come reversing back really quickly. You see, like here, you don't want to hold the next day when it drops down like 17%, or even here, right, 10%. That's the 10% drop. BA mentioned that when we're looking at Dow Jones, BA is just right below the 20 MA. Another day above and closed above, that will be bullish. And the rest of the market should go up with it, SPX especially. I mentioned stocks earlier, stocks right here that breaking above, that's bullish. And let's look at some of the stocks that are within stocks. And the first one, Nvidia. Look at Nvidia, same story, bring it up higher high, bullish. Intel, not as bullish, but and below two major moving average lines. So neutral, although it's a big company, probably the fifth or the sixth biggest company in the S&P. Looking at some of the other ones, LRCX big move today, 3.48%, challenging all-time highs. That's very bullish here. Abaco not as bullish, but it's trading within all-time highs. AMD stuck in a range below the moving average. If it can get above the moving averages and then close above all that mess here, then I'll be bullish. Breaking above that, obviously bullish, and then we'll go for all-time highs. Xilinx, my favorite here. Xilinx has been on a downtrend for a very long time, ever since April 2019, right? You connect the tops, there's your downtrend line. We're currently moving up, broke the green line, bounced on the orange line, and then bounced off the 200-day red line again, and then bounced off the 20 again, and had a big green day today, up 7%. Most likely we won't find any resistance until we hit here, about 2.42% away. If I were playing this, I would take profit there and rescale back in and see if we can actually break this downtrend. If we break this downtrend line, then the next target would be here, about 107, and then we break that and clear that. That's another minor 109. After that, it's pretty clear skies until we hit here, 132, and that is about a 20-30% rise. Just to look at a few more, Qualcomm near all-time highs, right? Qorvo near all-time highs, right? Skyworks, same thing, above the 20. That's another good one. It's very close to breaking out of here and then reaching all-time highs. Ambarella, the more bearish one, has been going down for a good amount of time, like 23 days in a row, although now it looks like it wants to come up and at least hit the 20-day moving average. Micron, in the trading range, break that above target 54.73, break that, all-time highs at 59.92. And that should wrap up today's analysis. I wanted to bring back here to the S&P. One thing I like to note is that sometimes we can get stuck into our day-to-day analysis and the daily chart. Sometimes you need to zoom out, especially when the week's ending or the monthly ends. It's always good to zoom out to see what's the big picture. You don't want to trade against what's the big picture. Always go from the big time frame and then narrow down. So if I'm trading, say I'm a day trader, I will look at what's happening within the daily chart, then the hourly chart, and then the 5-minute chart, right? If I know my daily is bullish and I see that 5-minute comes down to hit, say, a key moving average, say 200 MA, I would buy that. Boom. Next day, I get paid off. Over here, over here, over here. So now, looking at the big picture here, since we recently closed the month, we've been going up ever since the lows of March. green candle, green candle, green candle. Looks like there was some weakness here in the monthly, and now looking at a resurge of interest to keep going higher. So that's very bullish. And we almost to the bodies of the candles before the big sell-off. Looking at the weekly, bouncing off of the 50, bouncing off the 50, fail, bouncing off the 50 again, now moving up, breaking that. We're going to challenge the all-time highs. All right. So let me know if you have any questions. Please share, comment, subscribe if you find this is helpful. And I got this new mic. Hopefully this you can hear what I'm saying more clearly this time than other times. And good luck with your trading. Happy trading. Make money. See ya.